So if you would turn with me today, I'm going to just give you what the Word of God says. Very simple, very direct message. I think if we accept what God has to say, I think it would be a blessing to all of us. So let's pray. Father God, Almighty God, and we don't say that with tongue in cheek. We mean it. And even if we don't mean it, it doesn't change anything because it is who you are.
Yes.
The world declares all around us, the heavens declare all around us that you are Almighty God.
Yeah.
And thank you that we get to join in and say, yes, you are. Thank you for fixing our lips and our hearts and our minds to say, praise ye the Lord, for you are worthy to be praised.
Yes.
So as we open your word, we trust you now that you will speak a word today for your people that will bring honor and glory to you. We love you and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So today will be a little bit different. So like I said, we're going to just go straight into the word. The stories may come as the word goes, as God gives it, but I'm just going to share the word. So in Mark chapter 8, we're familiar with Mark chapter 8. They had been walking with Jesus, and Jesus had been doing a lot of great things, a lot of miracles. And so we get to the point where Jesus says, I got to tell them what's getting ready to happen to me. And then we have the Peter and Jesus discussion where he rebukes Peter for saying, no, you cannot die. I mean, I can only imagine being them, walking with Jesus, seeing him doing all the things he's done. I wouldn't want him to go either. Me and my wife was talking this morning. It's a hard conversation about maybe sending her back to China earlier before me. And she was like, no, I don't want to be apart from you.
Yeah, very good.
She's like,
Excellent.
she's like, no, I don't want to be away from you that long, no. So I can imagine what they must have felt. I mean, you think about everything he did. He touched somebody, they was healed. He cast out demons. I mean, turned water into wine. You're doing all these miraculous things, and he tells you that the time is coming where I must be turned over. And the Bible says Peter pulled him to the side and says, no. And Jesus turned and rebuked him sternly and says, cannot be about man's will. If I rebuke you, Satan, cannot be about the plans of man, but about God's plan. So we're going to pick up, and in honor of God and his word, I would like for you, if you would mind, standing with me, and we're going to read Mark chapter 8, 34 to the end, which is, Mark chapter 8, 34 to the end, which is 38. Okay? So, and calling the crowd to him with his disciples, he said to them, if anyone will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's sake will save it. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? For what can man give in return for his soul? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him will the Son of Man also be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. You may be seated. So we see here, Jesus goes into talking to his disciples about denying yourself and take up your cross and following me. I mean, many of us, we've heard that and we quoted that and we probably said it over and over in our lives. Probably more time than we probably would care to remember. But I want to go down to where he says in verse 35, he says, "Forever who will save his life will lose it. Whoever will save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's sake will save it. Now, I'm going to read it for you out of a different version. I want you to pay close attention to the words. This is the complete Jewish Bible. For whoever wants to save his own life will destroy it. But whoever destroys his life for my sake and for the sake of the good news will save it. Do you see the difference there? Does anybody pick up the difference? What was the difference that you saw? That you heard of?
Destroy your life. That was different.
That's different.
That wording.
Yes. So, to lose, what does to lose mean?
To destroy.
Is it the same? If you lose your life, what does it look like to lose your life?
Death.
It's not. But I tend to think of lose as something I lose, and then later I can go and do what?
Pick back up.
Find it.
Find it. But when you destroy something,
It's gone.
it's gone. Why did they use the wording that they used there? I'm not sure. But you think about it. Jesus says that to come after me, you must first deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. And then he says, for whoever tries to save his life, he has built this beautiful, precious life, and his life is going well, and all of a sudden now the gospel comes to you. And he says, when you hear the gospel, he who destroys that life for my sake will truly find it. I like the way Watchman Nee puts it. He talks about this cosmos and the cosmos which is to come, the new cosmos which Jesus is going to bring about. He says, you destroy life in this cosmos and begin to look for the life in the cosmos to come. So the reason I have this bulb here, you know, it's a very beautiful bulb. You know, it's like the child in my wife's womb. It's developing. And then one day it will come out and it will grow into this beautiful life. And many of us, we have this very beautiful life, and it's fit for use in the world. But then one day our son, which we believe is what it will be, will come into the knowledge of Jesus Christ. And when he comes into that knowledge of Jesus Christ, there's going to be a choice that he's going to have to make. You know, if he decides to take his life and try to lose it, say for instance, back here, and then when things are not going right, he can go back and resume life back to what it used to be. But when he truly, as Jesus says, my wife is looking like I'm crazy. But as truly as Jesus says, destroys his life. Now God says, now I'm ready to use you. You see, destroy and losing. It's a destroying of this world life, this world perception that says this is the way things should be. This is the way life should look like. You have reached this certain status in life, and this is what it should be like now for the rest of your life. But Jesus comes along and he says, no, destroy it for my sake. Because when you destroy it, because you're not living for that which is here, but you're living for the life which is to come. You know, I tend to believe that in today's world, we've kind of lost sight of that. You know, we have said, you know what, I'm going to put my tent down and I'm going to settle here. And by me putting my tent down and settling here, I forgot about that there is a home which is to come. My friend, I'm here to tell you, don't lose sight of home. Don't lose sight of home. Don't be deceived into thinking that it's okay to camp. It is not okay for us to camp here. We are called to look forward And as we are looking forward, as we sing in that song, we have that one glorious ambition for the passion of God. And in that glorious ambition for the passion of God, the things of this world begin to slowly fade away. But see, the life that is hidden always goes back and tries to find it. But the life is when it's destroyed, you can look at the pieces, but it can do you no good. You know, 3 years ago, when God called me into the ministry full time, He took me to that position of where it was destroyed. If you was to try to ask me to even go back and do my job, I don't even know if I could really do it again. You know, because I completely said goodbye to it. For the gospel's sake, I said nothing else matters. Nothing else matters other than doing what God has called me to do, and that is making disciples. You know, whatever that looks like, you know, of course, in the beginning I had this view of what it would look like, but it has not looked anything like that. Nothing like that. But as I operate according to faith, because there in faith is only where we find God's will. It's not in the logic of the things of this world, but it's only in faith. For those that come, they must know they have to seek me by faith. They must believe that I exist and that I reward them that diligently seek me. And so as we're seeking Him by faith, He leads us and guides us down His perfect path for our lives. Not the perfect path that the world says is for us, but the perfect path for our lives. I'm going to take you to an Old Testament story that magnifies this. If you would go to 1 Kings chapter 19. I'm pretty sure you may be familiar with the story. It is the story of when Elijah goes and calls Elijah. If you pick up verse 19, so 1 Kings 19, verse 19. So it says in verse 19, so he departed from there and found Elijah the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen in front of him, and he was with the 12. So therefore, we already see a little background about Elijah. Elijah was not some little poor man. Right? He had 12 oxen. And he had people working for him, working on the 11th, and here he was on the 12th. So he has a lot going on for himself. He has a nice business going. Things are looking very good. And he was with his 12. And it says, and going back, if you go back and you look at Elijah's life, here's a man who's in a cave. At one point, he's standing up for God. Next thing, he's running. You know, next thing, he's scared for his life. One thing, he's standing up mighty and strong. You know, but he's going from here and going from there. And then you got this man out here in this big, flush country. And everything looks very good and doing good for himself. And he says Elijah passed by him and cast his cloak on him. So as he went past him, he cast it upon him. Did not say a word. Kind of reminds you of somebody, right? Jesus says, come, follow me. Take up your cross, deny yourself, and take up your cross and follow me. So here he throws this cloak on him, and as he throws the cloak on him, and then he left the oxen and ran after Elijah. He left his oxen and ran after Elijah. And he says, let me kiss my father and mother, and then I will follow you. Here are some conditions. I want to follow you, but let me at least go and say goodbye. And he said to him, go back again, for what have I done to you? See, we're mistaken that when we think that it is a man that has given us the call. You see, never mistake the call that we get upon our lives, and whatever particular part of the call it is from God. Whether it's us preaching, whether it's us playing the music, whether it's standing and holding the doors, or whatever it may be, the call is from God. But the ultimate call is to himself, not to the work. You see, God is calling us to himself, because he said he who denies himself will find himself, that his self is truly found in the one creator, God himself. He said, let me kiss my father and mother and then follow you. And he said to him, go back again, for what have I done to you? And he returned from following him, and he took the yoke of oxen and sacrificed them. Notice that now. He sacrificed them, meaning his 12 oxen. That job which he was employing others, he says, work has come to an end. I'm killing off the oxen because God has called me. This luxurious life that I've had, I am now saying goodbye to. This easy life that I've had, where I was able to work with you and we can plow the field and take care of our families and all that, I'm now saying goodbye to that. Because now I've got a chance to go tell others about the King. I got a chance to go and tell others about a greater life which is to come. So he said, and he gave it to the people. So he destroyed his life. He destroyed his life. He didn't say, I'm going to put this on hold in case this don't work out. And because a lot of times that's what happens. When I first went into ministry, full time that was, one of the ladies, she told me, she said, I'll give you 2 years, you'll be back. Yeah. Give you 2 years, and you'll be back. You know, we hear about it over and over and over nowadays, where people have decided that what? I'm going to leave and go back to doing what I did before. But God is, as you see here, he says, God has given me the privilege by casting the cloak on me. He knew that when that cloak was cast upon him, that it meant something greater than himself.
Yes.
You see, it was greater than just my family. It was for the kingdom of God. So he said he destroyed it. He took the plow stuff, he burned it, and then he took the oxen and killed them and gave them to his family. It's almost like saying, here's your last meal with me. Here's your last meal. Because I'm now gone with Elijah. I don't know where this life is going to go. And he says that he gave it to the people and they ate. Then he arose and went out to Elijah and ministered to him. In some sense, it is almost like it says he went and he washed his feet. He served him. You go from having servants working for you at the top of the food chain, as we call it, to lowering yourself. Because he who is first shall be last. Who is last shall be first. And the greatest among you shall be the greatest servant among you. You see, living life with a tent built here on earth is only going to focus on me and my needs. But when God calls you to himself, he destroys that. Because only in destruction upon the cross is the old done away with. see, the Bible tells us that when we died in Christ, that he destroyed the old. He says, if any man be in Christ, he's a new creation. He says, I can't have anything to do with the old. I have to completely get rid of it.
Yes.
You know, I have destroyed that so that the new can come about. And as you walk in step with the Spirit, you will see my life manifested in you through your personality. It will be my life being expressed through your personality. And it will no longer look like a life that belongs here, but it looks like a life looking forward to a home to come. You know, we saw this in Paul's life. He destroyed that old life. He said he count all things as rubbish for the sake of knowing him. You know, have you, I don't know how God wants to use this word, but that is a question for you. Have you destroyed? Are you willing to accept what God has said in his word? It's not a comfortable life. It was never meant to be comfortable. It was never meant to be comfortable. But we've been duped by the world into believing that it should be. Because Jesus hasn't returned yet. So therefore, let me live my life. Don't be woven into the lie. I beg of you, please do not be deceived. Thank you.
Amen. Well, you know, I was just looking at this thing and thought about many times when my wife will say, I have lost my earring or whatever it is. And I'll say, and you hear it and it's going on and on and on, trying to find it. And I'll say, you haven't lost it, you just misplaced it. Yeah. And that's almost, when I read this verse 35 in Mark there, it made me feel like that was so much easier to replace when you look at it as just when you say you lose something.
Yeah.
And that's completely, I mean, this is like a completely, this is life change stuff here. This is, when you destroy something, it's destroyed.
Destroy it. It's destroyed.
And when we talk about for whoever loses it, and you always have this thing in the back of your mind, you know, yeah, but I'll find it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is just really profound. I mean, I really do. This is really profound. I don't know how in the world did this word get changed?
I don't know.
How did it get changed? That is a huge difference.
Yeah.
I have, in the Passion, it says, for if you let your life go, if you let your life go for my sake and for the sake of the gospel, you will continually experience the true life.
Mm.
If you let your life go. It's not just a matter of, dethroning our lives. It's a matter of enthroning Christ.
Yeah. Because he would destroy that old life, because the old life was connected to who?
Right.
Adam.
Yeah.
You see, and everything that we built has been built upon that life. And so that lie has been permeated in our thinking. So even when we become new creations in Christ, guess what happens? That old thinking is still there.
Yeah.
That's why the Bible says what? Renew your mind.
Yeah.
So now we learn not to walk according to logic, but we learn to walk according to faith. As we renew our mind, we no longer are walking according to what the world says, but now according to as God says. Which is way different. Way different.
Good word.
Thank you, brother.
Good word.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share.
Thank
Yeah.
you for being here.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. I was saying,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's so easy to get caught up into thinking about myself and my needs. That's the deception.
tell you're preaching when you just got it easy. You got it made. It's easy for you to preach this stuff.
No, no, it's not easy. It is not easy at all. It's, because it's constant.
Yeah.
Because we hear it all the time. Think in my position as a man, I want to provide for my wife. I want to provide a stability, a stable place for her to have, especially now in this part of being pregnant, to live.
So month to month, week to week, the Lord's providing different places for them to live right now. They have no place to lay their heads.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So that's what's happening. That's what's going